Hello, everyone. My name is Shelly Lynn Hughes, and this is the Pursuit 365 channel, of which I get to interview some pretty amazing, incredible people from our Pursuit 365 community. Today, we have the lovely Jai Harvey Yin as our lovely guest. And Jai is a dynamic speaker, coach, and spiritual alchemist with a passion for helping women discover their own sense of fabulosity. With a unique blend of traditional business expertise and deep spiritual insight, Jai's approach empowers professional women to break through their limitations, embrace clarity, and unlock their full potential in their lives and careers. With over 2 decades of experience in industries ranging from beauty therapy, education, mindset modalities, to business mentorship, Jai has spoken on stages both large and small, internationally and locally. Whatever her topic, Jai brings a unique and engaging perspective to every event. Her humor, heart, and practical approach has made her a sought after speaker for corporate events, in house trainings, and popular podcasts. Jai's unique ability to blend mindset tools with metaphysical practices offers audiences a fresh perspective on personal growth. Fast talking, action orientated, and unapologetically real, Jai brings a sense of fun and deep wisdom to every engagement. Her mission is simple: to help you clear the fog, rediscover your inner strength, and create a life and biz you absolutely love. Jai, that's amazing. Welcome to our Pursuit 365 channel and obviously the community which you're already in. But thank you for coming here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Didn't I sound fabulous? Just saying. When
You
you
did
hear
sound
that, you're like, oh, is
fabulous.
that me?
You are fabulous, but you even sound like, wow, that was a very well written bio to get us started
Thank you.
today.
Thank you so
And
much.
I'm in Vancouver, Canada, and are in Australia.
Yes, in Melbourne.
Melbourne. I've never been to Australia, but now that we have so many members, it's definitely on my list of
Yeah,
places to go to.
bring
Very
it on.
exciting. Have you been to Canada before?
I have. I've been to Toronto, just Toronto,
Oh.
just for a conference I did with Stu McLaren. Yeah, it was really good. I loved it. It reminded me a little bit of Melbourne, actually. It's got that
It,
same kind of vibe.
yeah, okay, that's interesting. I've never heard that before, but I could see that a little bit.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what time is it there right now for you?
Just after midday.
Oh, that's not bad then. That's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's just early evening for us here. Okay, so I have a few questions that I've lined up for you here. Did a little research, know a little bit about you. So, one of the questions I have is how mindset influences our business success. So, how do we change our mindset to be successful small business or entrepreneurs? What can you say about that?
Well, I've been in business for a long time. I said over 2 decades, but it's really closer to three. And I notice I work with women in my whole entire career, and we follow procedures. We try to follow the masculine paradigm. Do, get all the things. But actually, what ends up happening that defaults us is that we forget that we're a beautiful feminine energy, and that we have the ability to embrace the goodness that makes us women, and as such, we kind of second guess ourselves, and our mindset becomes our worst enemy when it's really should be our main strength, because we're not living in alignment with who we are as women, generally speaking. Obviously, this is all general, but I feel like there are so many stories that we create about ourselves from our early infant years, when we these little sponges creating new beliefs about ourselves, and often we don't dive into those, and they can play out throughout our career as businesswomen, especially when we're called to step up. And so my passion is helping women see their true inner fabulosity, which is a word that I thought I made up, actually, Shelley, but
No.
I found out that it was actually in 1683. Someone made it up. So
Oh,
I've decided that that was me in a previous life,
there
because
you
I
go.
pretty much own fabulosity. But what it means for me is stepping up truly as yourself in the best version that you are, unapologetically. You know, it's very catchphrase in this world now to say authentically, but fabulosity is a state of being, and for each of us, fabulosity looks completely different. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the beautiful part about having a word that people don't understand is that it gives them a chance to be open and free and embrace what that might look like for them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I don't know if I answered your question. I think mindset is everything, and business without a healthy mindset and knowing how to hack your mindset in
That's what I
business.
was going to ask. Like, if you're having a bad day, or you're just not, the business isn't going the way you want it to go, and you've got to pivot and you make changes. So yeah, is there any tools that you can give us?
Absolutely. Like one of my signature principles is called the fabulosity flip. So if you know anything about me, I'm kind of kooky and fun. And for such a long time, I hid that in trying to live this professional life, you know, as I was creating my businesses. And as I grew older and wiser and in this new incarnation, I think you have to be yourself. And so I created this thing called the fabulosity flip, you know. We can do that if we want to. Yes,
Yeah.
because it's, you know, sexy and fun. But really, it's three founding principles, and it's about feeling the feelings. So the first step is to feel the feelings. So you stop and pause when you're hit with some sort of resistance, and you feel the feelings. So often in the masculine world, we are disconnected. You know, we're up here in our heads and we forget to contact our body. Did
Mm-hmm.
you know, Shelley, that it only takes 90 seconds to process an emotion fully? When I found that out, I was like, what? Because it's the stories that we tell ourselves in our brain that
Mm-hmm.
keeps that emotion flowing. So it's like this rinse and repeat. I'm crap, you know, da, 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 and I did this wrong. Oh no, I'm terrible. No one's going to listen to me. And then you don't actually feel it. So step one is to actually stop, drop into the body for a little second. And you don't have to be quite as dramatic, but I'm doing it for the purpose of explaining it
Okay,
because it
I
can
like
take 30
it.
seconds to do it. So you sort of drop into the body and say, okay, so where am I feeling this in my body right now? Oh my God, it's in my left elbow. Oh, that's very weird. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Okay, I'm just going to let it process. You might move your body a little bit and let it go. Then the second step is that we reflect and reframe. So
Mm-hmm.
we ask ourselves, you know, what else could this mean? As humans, we are meaning making machines, and often we don't make up the right meaning, you know, and we can make up any meaning. You know, I could say that this moon is blue, and that is the truth to me, but
Yeah.
really it's kind of red, you know. So you reflect and go, okay, what else could this mean? Why am I reacting this way? Just having a little look at it. And then the third step is to reframe. And so it really is flipping a negative into a positive, but it's learning the lesson along the way. So we've felt the feels, we've asked ourselves and reflected, and then we're going to reframe it. And then you speak it into being. So there's something in our brain and our voice that when we speak out loud, it has a lot more power in our nervous system. It's like our subconscious brain, which is responsible for 95% of all of the things that we do in life. It's crazy to think that. Listens. So I'll use an example. My whole life I've battled with my weight, and it kept me small, interestingly, though I was big. And so sometimes I would, you know, not do things in a business sense because I would feel judged. I didn't want to be seen, you know, I felt fat. And so I, for such a long time, said to my brain, I'm not fat. I'm not fat. No, I'm great. I'm not fat. But actually, the subconscious mind does not understand negations. So if every time I said, I'm not fat, my subconscious heard, I'm fat, I'm fat. And then we have this cool little thing in our subconscious called the reticular activating system, which is like, it's like a laser pointer and it looks for all of the ways to prove you right. So I'm saying I'm not fat. It's hearing I'm fat and looking for all of the chocolate that I need to consume to keep me fat. So, which is insane. When you find those things out, you're like, whoa. So now I replace it when I'm reframing and I notice that behavior coming up. I will say, delete, delete, delete. Don't listen to that. Listen to this. And I will say, it's safe to be thin. And therefore, my subconscious hears, I'm safe. So I drop into my parasympathetic nervous system and I'm thin. So it works out that we're sort of hitting at every level, but at the subconscious. The subconscious brain is my jam, Shelley. I just love this stuff so much. It's
I
so
love
good.
that. And what a different way to think about it.
Yes. So that's my practical tool gift to the world. And every week I do a newsletter which I call the Soul Alchemy Codex because I want it to be fancy and then it's so complicated. But anyway, we love it. And I will do a section every week of practical application of the fabulosity flip with lots and lots of different examples, client case studies and other examples where people have written in or asked me, hey, this happens to me, how would I flip that? And so it becomes second nature. So every week people get a flip.
Oh, I love that. A
Yeah,
flip. A flip is a good thing.
it
We kind of
sure
get
is.
stuck in our ways.
We do. We absolutely do. And, there is a negativity bias in our brain to keep us safe. So we are looking for the negative.
Mhm.
So having a little simple, silly tool, a lot of my tools are very silly and people laugh at me, but actually learning with laughter makes you remember it. And if you think of me going like this crazy blonde Melburnian flipping her hair, you might go, oh, actually, what did Jay say? Yes, I've got to feel the feels, reflect and reframe, and then I've got to speak it into being, the new narrative. So, yeah, so
There we go. I love that. So, okay, let's talk about business and emotions and our day-to-day lives.
oh
So,
my God,
like,
how long have we got?
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, business emotions, there's so much there in our day-to-day lives and how it affects us.
Especially for women, because we are naturally more emotional than men. And there's nothing, I'm not a man basher, I love men. But in business, women get in our heads a lot more and we feel from our hearts, but we try to act from our heads. And I work predominantly with solo and micropreneurs that are women because that's
Mhm.
been my history. Since I've been in multiple different types of businesses, from very small single businesses to quite large, you know, government accredited, audited businesses where I've got a lot of responsibility. But it's very lonely as a woman in business. And so I work with women that want to share the load. And I love doing that. That's one of my favorite things about it because my superpower is that I can lighten the situation, blind you with science, confuse your brain, and then make you see things in a different way, all while having a giggle or a cry or whatever. But because when you've been in business as long as I have in so many different ways, sometimes you forget what you actually know. And one of the things that I do at the moment is that I teach business to a bunch of witches, believe it or not, as a community of witches, beautiful souls, and I teach business to them. And sometimes, no matter the type of business, when women are in business, there are patterns around emotions and behaviors as a result of those emotions that come from being a woman in business. So I think that learning we can't change anything that we're not aware of, right? So bringing awareness and asking questions. I'm really good at asking questions. I can talk a lot, but I can also listen. And I think that, asking the right questions and confusing your mind and really listening to the response and listening to the response in your body can steer you in the right way.
Yeah.
My mission is for people to step into their own fabulosity. And that means an aligned business, a business that really makes a difference for the owner, because when we start in business it's so exciting and we want to rule the world and we want to change the world and we want to do all of the things, and then reality hits and you've got your government tax thing to do, statement to do, you've got a staff member that doesn't turn up, and there's all of these and you forget how to reconnect with the reason why you started. I think we need to remember that business is super fun. Like, it's actually fun. And even when you have to do your taxes, you can sit in a place of gratitude around the fact that you've made enough money to pay taxes.
Do pay taxes and do taxes. And really, we use the services. So,
We do.
yeah, unfortunately, I think Australia's taxes are pretty high like Canada's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're very high. So, but a lesson I learned with taxes is if you do them at like get together with your bookkeeper every month and you take care of it every month, it's not that hard at the end.
It's actually not. I think comes back to the mindset.
Hmm.
I think that sometimes we catastrophize or make things much bigger. I don't know if you've read that book, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. Oh, it's transformational. You've got to read it. It's so
Okay,
funny.
I've
But
got
the
to read it.
premise is that, you say you've got a job to do. So say it is your taxes, and you day after day you don't think about it. You think of this as a frog, and day after day it gets uglier and slimier and big in your mind, and you think, oh my God, it's this big massive thing that I've got to do. It's so slimy. But he says if you eat the ugliest, slimiest frog first thing in the morning, when you're fresh, when your mind is clear, actually that frog will the lightness that comes from eating that frog, even though it might have been a little bit disgusting, one, it probably wasn't as disgusting as you thought it was, and it clears space in your brain. So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
a magical principle. So I always say, what's your frog today? What's the ugliest frog? Why is it ugly? Let's eat it now and get rid of it,
Let's get
And
rid of it. Let's
often,
get it done and over with.
yeah, and often those frogs are responsible for big chunks of moving forwardness. I
Hmm.
just made that up, more moving
Moving
forwardness.
forwardness. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, so the daily emotions, the emotions, the business. Do you find that because you obviously do business mostly with women, as you
yeah,
mentioned,
yeah.
but do you find doing business with men and women very different or
Actually, no, not so much. It's funny because my target is and my passion is to work with women, but I do work with quite a lot of men. For some reason, they just like my I'm very straightforward, and you can talk about anything with me, whether it's that nothing has a emotional charge on it for me, so you can be really open, and I think men like that. And they also like action. I'm a big action taker. I can hold space, and I'm very woo, and I incorporate Reiki, for example, and a card reading in every single business session. So I incorporate this kind of woo magic and the traditional business acumen that I've learned over all of these years of being in business. And it's funny because my male clients are the ones that if I forget to do one of those things, they're like, oh, where's the cards? And I'm like, oh, sorry, forgot because I got busy, we got sidetracked
Mhm.
talking about whatever. But I think that fundamentally humans are the same. We want to feel valued, we want to feel like we're making a difference, we want to be seen and heard, and we want to be happy. And so learning different mindset techniques and bringing awareness to that can really change your outlook. And having someone in your corner that is 100% committed to you, not your husband, not your business partner, not your
Yeah.
staff, you, is a really nice thing. That's one of my favorite things about working in the coaching space, is that I care about my client. Of course, I care about the world at large and the people that, there's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
But to be able to come in as the cheerleader and the real sounding board. I love it because I have a curious mind and I'm nosy and I like to hear all the juice. So it serves well because they can be honest on everything. And even though I'm a business coach, a lot of the work that I do is around clearing the limiting beliefs, getting rid of the stories, reframing, getting people to take positive action and gain clarity, the true clarity on what's going on, not just what they think is going on or what Bob said or Mary said, or, it's actually what they think, which sometimes is the first time that women have even, I will ask them, what do you want? What do you want? They can't answer it. and they can tell you exactly what they don't want. But I'm like, what do you want?
What do
And
you
then they're like,
actually want out of this?
yeah, and
Right.
it's
What do you,
crazy
yeah.
because we're taught, as little girls. I don't know about you. I grew up in England, and little girls are seen and not heard. We don't boast. We don't talk about money. That's ugly. You want to be humble. So all of those kind of indoctrinated beliefs that are pretty societal as well, come out when you're pushing the boundaries, especially when you've hit a certain level of success, but then you want to take it off because you feel like there's more for you. And that's when we have to go into mindset. So even though I, say, yes, I'm a business coach, most of the stuff I do is all around the brain and clearing those limiting beliefs and stories and shining a beautiful, kind, playful light on what might, be your deepest, darkest secrets. And then all of a sudden, when you realize, I've got 15 clients like that, it's the same thing. We're all the same. And it's like, oh, I was hiding that. And then when you can let go of that, then you can, we clear the space in the brain. It's an amazing process. I do a full day breakthrough. Oh my God, it's magical. And then you're like, oh, what do I do now? Because I've got all this space and I don't know what to do with it all. And so then I hold space and we make a strategy. That's when strategy comes in, and we work on getting things done together. So the person you are at the beginning of a session, the container will not be who you are at the end. And I always say there's a devil at every level. So, it never ends.
I
I'm
just think you would be one of the most fun business coaches that gets stuff done.
Yeah,
Like,
thank you. That's such a nice thing to say. That's who I hope to be
yeah,
honest.
like I love that. I really feel that you would be that way because you are a lot of fun, but you're a girl that's just like, let's do this. Let's do this. And you don't see, I mean, there's obviously boundaries sometimes, but
Of course.
you can see the possibilities is actually the word for it. And I love
Exactly.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best part. Because I'm a Gemini and I like to be
Are you
playful
a
and
Gemini?
curious. I'm such a Gemini.
Oh my gosh, everyone in my life, I swear, like 80% of them are Geminis. Both of my
Um,
daughters are, when's your birthday?
31st of May.
My daughters are both on May 28th.
Same day. Ooh, what happened a few months before?
I
Anyway,
know.
let's not ask that. But yeah,
But they're not same day, 9 years apart to the day.
wow, I love that. Oh my God, Gemini girls, we rock. The thing is that I like to be curious and I like to find solutions to problems. And because I've been around since the dark ages of time, I've done a lot of things. And so sometimes people will say, I just can't see my way. And I'm like, what if we tried this? Or let's try that. And then I get to play in their space and give them inspired actions to take. And
Yeah.
I always say, if you don't take an action, you're going backwards. So even if you take one step forward, you either know, yep, that's on the path, or uh-oh, I got to do something else. And you learn something from that. So there's no such thing as failure, even though I've failed a gazillion times in amongst all the things that I've done. I think as entrepreneurs, we become expert failures, and they're not even
Absolutely.
failures. It doesn't even have that emotional charge anymore. It's just, let's
No.
just keep going. Let's try something else. Yeah,
Let's try something else. Let's pivot. Let's learn from the lesson and find something better.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like you failed because it wasn't supposed to work because you're trying
That's
supposed to
exactly
find
right.
something better.
For
Yes,
sure.
for sure. So, how do you personally, whether it's for yourself or you teach your clients,
Yeah.
how do you weave magic and ritual into your business?
Well, I believe that the definition or the working definition in my life, in my model of the world, is that magic is intention
Mm-hmm.
plus action and free will. Ta-da, that's magic. So, and magic can take lots of forms. So, they say knowledge is power, but actually, knowledge isn't power unless you take action. Otherwise, it's just a whole lot of words, isn't it? Like, unless you apply something, you might as well not have learnt it, to be honest. It's just
We
taking
all
up
have
space
that
in your brain.
one client too. Sorry to interrupt, but we always
Yeah.
have one client that they've got some of the greatest ideas, and it's like that is amazing, and you encourage them, but there's no action. It's so frustrating.
Oh, it's so frustrating. And one of the things I say at the very beginning of, when I meet someone, I said, you need to be standing up the front of the room with me because I'm going to go all in on you. And if you don't go all in on yourself, well, then sorry, I'm
Yeah.
not really the coach for you because
No.
life is too busy and you don't want to waste time. And I don't want anyone who works with me to spend money, their hard earned money, and come away going, oh, wish I didn't do that,
Yeah.
because they didn't take the action. But back to magic, I think that ritual is something that could be more heavily brought into business as
Mm-hmm.
a whole, whether it comes from, stirring an intention into your coffee in the morning and just centering and grounding yourself through to, a full morning ritual or, a meditation practice or something like that. Like I do sometimes go into businesses that are in trouble with their teams and run a cacao ceremony, for example, because I did tell you I was woo, and and in amongst that, I will design the activities in amongst it to target the business owner's concerns so that we can have an open, frank discussion that doesn't feel like an attack from the owner, and bring out everybody, let everybody have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I bring magic into businesses as well. Like I think that we're so much more aware that it's not just the traditional does not work anymore. Most people are so awake, they're more aware of alternative practices that have been around since
Forever.
eons. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been
Forever.
doing. We're just remembering all of those things and remembering our humanity again. I think the fact that business is about connection, and at its heart, isn't it? You can't sell something to somebody if they don't connect with you. Even if they really, really want it, they'll go and buy it from someone else. So, and fundamentally, business is selling stuff.
It truly is. And like you and I aren't real salespeople,
No.
but yet we're very personable and open. And I think that we just we just sell because you know
Yeah.
it's just this is what we have, this is what we do. Do you like it? Great, let's be a part of it or don't, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, when you've got a when you believe in your product, so that's big. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's really big. Speaking of that, like that comes into the question of bringing spirit into a business.
Yes.
I don't know how I brought spirit into my business. Maybe you can explain how someone brings spirit into a business. And I know I have spirit in my business, but how does
Absolutely.
one do that?
I think sometimes, like in the olden days, maybe like 10, 20, 30 years ago in business, we never talked about spirituality, religion. It was all very, distant. And then as the spiritual movement, the consciousness movement, yoga, and all of that sort of come around,
Hmm.
it seems to be a conversation that people are more open to having.
Hmm.
Not all businesses, but I know I work with a lady and she works a lot in corporate, and she goes in and does really woo things with their team. And I'm like, wow, gosh, you could never have done that, years and years ago.
20 years
They
ago.
would go paintballing or something, but now they're doing some sort of Zen affair. But I think for me, I was very anti-religion because of some past, experiences with that. And so I just have my own beliefs, and don't um, I never talked about them. And I had sort of a crisis in my life where I kind of walked away from everything about 7 or 8 years ago now and had to start again. And so I discovered Reiki as a way to heal myself and became a master. And then I always identified as she who stands alone. Like as part of my Reiki mastery, which was 18 months, we had to create a deck of cards that reflected our life. And one of the cards that I created was she who stands alone because I really felt like I couldn't really rely on anyone in my life, even though I was highly loved and surrounded by beautiful people. But when the poop hits the fan, there is no one you can rely on except for you. And so I
Absolutely.
really almost had that as a badge of honor, Shelley. Like I
Mhm.
was she who stands alone. Sometimes I was like victim, she who stands alone. Why won't other people help me? That was rare because I'm not really a victim. But through the journey of Reiki and understanding and connecting with energies and what have you, I realized that spirit, whatever that means for you, is omnipresent. It's always around, whether it's God or universe or high conscious or whatever you like to call it. And once I had that epiphany, I was no longer she who stands alone, which was
Beautiful.
really profound for me. And to know that the universe always does have your back, there is always enough. If even if when you feel like there's not enough, that's a lesson. If you look at it like that, life becomes so much richer. And I also I follow the work of Colette Baron Reid. I just love her. I want to be her when I grow up. I just think she's the most adorable human. And she believes that there is a spirit of your business. And actually, my Reiki master, before I heard Colette say it, my Reiki master said that to me too. I want you to treat your business like it's its own entity, it has its own soul, its own spirit. And when I did that, ah, the world opens up because going back to mindset again, when you are trying to sell yourself and you are trying to you are the face of your business, which a lot of women are. It's hard to push through because you feel like all of those stories come up because what about me? Got to me, I'm the best, because there's so much noise and you've got to compete. But when you realize that you're working for a business that is part of you, yes, but it has its own spirit, it's very freeing because you can kind of go, well, that's my mission. I'm working for a cause, just like you would for an employer in a sense, but with this deep, luscious heart energy because it's something that's so precious to you because you created it from
Yes.
with spirit, whatever. But I love that sort of concept. And so I often encourage my clients to dive into that as well. If it's their woo, like I don't have a cookie cutter program. That would be too boring for this
Yeah.
Gemini. I like I've got lots and lots of tools and lots of experience and I pull what we need. So if you're not woo, I don't care. We'll just do the traditional
Do
stuff.
other stuff.
Yeah, whatever you need. And that keeps my need for variety quite
Yes.
happily fulfilled, But yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that,
Well,
but
we were good on the spirit side of it and bringing spirit in and the woo and whatnot.
yeah,
But I totally understand. All right. So, you obviously use different modalities in your coaching. So you've got
yeah,
all these different modalities in your coaching.
yeah,
How with your specific, I mean, like you said, you pull in all
yeah,
different things, but um, which ones, like, would you say, is it dependent on the company or the person, but which ones are your favorite ones to use? Like,
100%.
how can that make a client, like, you know what I mean, grow,
Yeah,
their business grow? So you must have some favorites that you use.
100% I do. One, so the mindset reset day where
Hmm.
I use timeline therapy and exquisite questioning. I became a master practitioner in timeline and NLP, and I continue to evolve. So I haven't stopped learning. I'm in a master's program, and it's all about nuance for me. I just want to be the best I can be, so of highest service to my clients. But that day is profound. Like, no matter where you are in your life journey, we take sort of a snapshot, we look at the past, and we almost say goodbye with love to the past in a way. Like we
Yeah.
we we get rid of the poo, we learn the lessons, and then we come forward so that we're clear space. So that's my 100% not negotiable. I just don't like coaching unless I have the opportunity to do that. sometimes we have to do it multiple times throughout. But once you've spent the day, I might be coaching you, Shelley, and you might say, oh, oh, yeah, I was told when I was a kid that I'm stupid. I don't know, it just came into my head. That's not true about you. Please don't even think. But, like, oh, I can't do that because nah, I'm dumb. I'm not clever enough to do that or whatever. And I might go, oh, that's interesting. Take a deep breath for me, Shelley. Close your eyes and let's jump on the timeline. And then I'll smash it in that moment. It takes about 10 minutes. So my clients know that if I notice something and we want to knock it on its head then and there, they don't have to go forth next week or a month later. We will just kill it. I have this one lady that I was working on with for a really long time. We did a couple of breakthroughs. She's been with me for about 2.5 years, and her business has just gone from strength to strength as she has. And the other day something came up, and I said, "Just close your eyes down." And she's like, "I can't even believe." Afterwards, she's like, "I can't believe that came up." And I'm like, "Devil at every level. So I use a lot of those tools. Questions are my best friend and laughter. I use Reiki, I use the cards, I use the woo, but I also have lots of business processes and lots of experience in hiring and firing. And so, someone might say to me, hey, I've got to employ someone. And I go, here, I've got this. Let me copy it. And it won't be branded in Fabulosity, Business Magic, any of that stuff. It'll just be like, from my old business, do you want a copy? And they're like, yeah, sure. So I kind of pull it out, what we need really. But the subconscious mind. I love it. It's my
So
favorite thing.
subconscious mind, yeah,
Limiting
you take
beliefs.
some of the old traditional ways and then the new ways, depending on the person, combine them together. Now,
Absolutely.
can you work with people from all over the world? Like you're in Australia, but I guess now
Yeah.
digitally you can do it anywhere.
We have the Zoomiverse. It's
There's
fantastic. Yeah, I do most of my sessions in Zoom, even for people that live in Melbourne. Like I've got a lady who lives like a couple of kilometers up the road and she does everything on Zoom.
Yeah,
So,
I do a lot of stuff on Zoom now just because like where I live, even though I live in Vancouver, I live outside of Vancouver in a small beach city. But it's
nice.
still to get downtown Vancouver if I have a meeting, it's still a good hour drive there, an hour back, and then you're there for an hour or two. That's like 4 hours out of your day.
100% when you can just jump on a call. So, yeah, I have specific hours, but as I expand, like I had a lady yesterday from Central, I don't know when that was, and so we had to kind of work out the timing. And I work all sorts of hours because I just love it. I like being flexible, really, and yeah, so I just fit in. I mean, obviously within reason, but yes, I do. I do love working with people from other countries. I think in my old career, in my very large business, I traveled a lot, and I miss my international flair. So if I can't get on a plane, I love another experience from someone across the world. And I
Oh, it's
think
the
the accent,
best.
people listen because I've got a weird accent. Apparently,
It's
it's
not a weird accent, it's a beautiful accent.
oh, thank you very
It's a
much. But
beautiful,
yeah,
well, and even I love like some of our American clients. I love their accent.
me
Then you
too.
got your I just love accents.
Me too. I
'Cause you
I
have a
love them.
beautiful accent.
I love them. Thank you, my love.
So nice, so nice. Well, is there anything up and coming that you'd like to share? Like anything new that you're
Um,
excited about?
I am excited because I'm kind of rebranding at the moment, and I'm doing a business magic program.
Hmm.
So it's still part of the fabulosity thing, but so I have my business magic program. So that's all happening, and I would encourage, if people love this interview, which clearly they are because it's been so fun, that they want to stay in my world. I'll give you some links and they can join the codex. Then they have access to me on a regular basis. I have a Facebook community called Gaja, which stands for Gratitude, Attitude, and Joyous Abundance. And I do lots of fun, kind of more woo.
Hmm.
Things like next month's meditation. This month was journaling. In May, we're doing the Magic Abundance Challenge to bring in around money mindset. And, so that's really fun and really low cost to get involved and just it's less than a couple of cups of coffee a month. I just do it because I want to be able to give to
Yeah,
more people, because not everybody is in a position to do one-on-one coaching, and everybody needs mindset,
most definitely.
you know.
So, what I will do is below, I always put your bio. So, I'll put your bio in there so our followers, our listeners, our viewers can get a hold of you. I will put in your bio, I'll put in your website, your social media channels. I hope that they
Thank
follow
you.
you there. And
Right.
if they have any questions, I will encourage for them to connect with you and also join your Facebook group. I'll actually put the Facebook group link in there too.
Thank you
Make
so
it nice
much.
and easy.
I encourage anyone who has loved this, just give me a hi, because sometimes do these little podcast things and have these amazing conversations come away, and I'm like, did anyone listen to that? Just tell me you listened. Just say g'day.
Just a little hello, just a
Just a
little,
little hello.
just little hi. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's good. We'll have some people watching it. So
I love
our
it.
community is wonderful. Like
Oh,
now,
aren't they?
we're in 16 countries now.
Love it. I don't even know how I found you, but I'm thank the universe because of that, because it's just amazing. I love being part of the Pursuit
And
community.
we love having you. I think it was Laura.
Laura, it was Laura.
It was Laura. Love
Thanks,
our
Laura.
ambassador, Laura. We
Yeah,
love Laura. And that was just a reach out for me and another women's group. I just really said, I'm looking for an ambassador in Australia. I want to grow her. And Laura was there, and yeah, and she's grown it.
perfect. She's
So yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
She
amazing.
is amazing. Well, thank you very much. I know you've got a busy day today. You've got to work, and we will definitely. Well, we're obviously going to stay connected. You're part of our community.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for all the
Thank
insights.
you. Thank you.